This is a defining moment in the competition for the future of our country. Bottom-up solutions versus extreme top-down ideas. The outcome will determine whether the American dream, and indeed the American experiment itself, will survive. Believe in People, America's 250th anniversary edition is a guide for anyone who wants to play their part to help ensure our next 250 years are even better than the last. See, we're living through a time of rapid change and unprecedented disruption. The institutions people have relied upon to live their lives are crumbling. And at times like these, people are especially susceptible to extreme top-down ideas that promise to solve their problems, but will only make things worse. The history of our country shows there's a better way. The principles in the Declaration of Independence, they've always been our guide. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The idea that as Americans, we succeed by helping each other succeed. And while some say the problems today are too big for everyday Americans to solve, or that we must violate our principles to save our country, nothing could be further from the truth. As Martin Luther King III reminds us in the new foreword to the book, Frederick Douglass called the principles of bottom-up empowerment in the Declaration saving principles, and it's during times like these that they matter most.
These principles have enabled me to achieve more than I ever imagined, and they can do the same for you. If we embrace these principles, we can rise above the division that's tearing us apart so that every person can rise, realize their potential, and contribute to a brighter future. Believe in People shares lessons from my life, a lot of trial and error, with the emphasis on error. But more than that, it shares lessons we've learned from people who are making a real difference. Some of the most effective, inspiring leaders I've ever met.
Believe in People is filled with stories of everyday Americans acting on these principles to solve problems and show a better way. It's a guide for anyone who wants to make a difference, and it's a call to action for all of us to do our part, to help reimagine the institutions that can bring us together as Americans. Entrepreneurs like Sal Khan are reimagining education from the bottom up. Guys like Scott Strode are helping rebuild community connections to tackle the addiction crisis and mental health. Since we first published the book, Scott and his organization have grown 100-fold. They've now helped more than 1 million people. When it comes to getting the economy back on track, Melanie Armstrong shows how one person can make a huge difference by changing public policy. Her single act of courage to save her own small business has helped more than 4 million people find their own version of the American dream. These are just a few of the incredible everyday people who show what's possible when we look beyond our differences and work together to solve the problems holding people back. Every solution starts with a deep belief in people, a recognition that everyone has an important role to play. And when we empower those closest to the problems and unite with anyone to do right, there's no challenge we can't overcome. That's the spirit that defined our country from the beginning, and it's what's required today as we cross this milestone and help write the next chapter. The future depends on all of us.
Because each of us can make a big difference when we believe in people.